we're in a new era, and it's a very unique time that we're living in. I'm very hopeful that very soon, in the near future, we're going to see that nature is obligating us to be more and more internally connected, mentally connected. I'm not talking about physically closer, more than 2 meters to each other or anything of that sort. And so this is what needs to happen. So I think we need to understand the principle, the foundation of the Torah. This is what Abraham taught the people who joined him, how to become unified, how to live above the differences, and that we can in fact transcend the differences and all religions and all belief systems to a point where, like it is said about the higher force, it is called, again, my house is a house of prayer for all nations. That's what needs to ultimately happen. And so if we work towards that, if we do that, then at the very least, we can start explaining to those who want to hear what is the general direction of the course of human development and the correction that needs to happen. And I'm hoping that soon humanity is going to start hearing it a bit more. And if not, there's going to be some more plagues, more blows that will expose this idea to more people, and thus gradually, bit by bit, step by step, we can come closer to the public and explain the secret of correction. In all the Kabbalistic writings, in all the books of Kabbalah, this is explained. This exists there. And this needs to be shown to all.
So, Rudy, how do we do it? I mean, it seems like on a lot of levels, you guys kind of talking the same thing. I hear the way you talk to people on the street. You very much, touch on a lot of similar things. I hear what Dr. Lightman is saying, but how do we do it? The question is, I see so much resistance among Jews. Forget about anti-Semites even. Sometimes they're even actually easier to talk to. How do we do it?
Before we even heal the world, I think we need to heal our own nation. Our own nation, our own Oregon has gone through traumatic experiences. There's even passed down generational trauma that we all carry from all those things, and colonization, mental and physical, of our land and of our minds that exist, that we're now in the process of decolonizing. Historically, we were 12 physical nations. Each nation had a piece of land except for the tribe of Levi, which was, was spread across all the tribes. But today, we're not physical tribes anymore. We're sort of ideological tribes. We have the left against the right, the religious against the secular. And the way I see it is that every single individual sector of Jewish Am Yisrael society, it has a truth to it. It's sort of like a puzzle piece to one larger image. So the religious sector is talking about being more connected to Hashem and to our values and to our traditions and to a higher purpose, which is a fundamental part of who we are. And the secular side is saying we need to be interconnected with the rest of the world and learn math and science, which they don't actually contradict. Like, why are they opposing one another? And you see the left, which is talking about humanity, the left in Israel, humanity and justice and liberation and rights. And the right is talking about identity and security. And again, why do these concepts contradict? And unfortunately, we're in a society right now where we're very rebellious. I look at it from an analogy perspective of a child being born. In 1948, we were reborn on our land. After a child, usually when they're born, they're pretty weak. They need a parent to take care of them. But after they grow and they reach an adolescent stage, a stage where they're very rebellious, where they're trying to figure out who they are. A child can dye their hair green or run away, scream back at their parents. And now it's kind of the stage that we exist, I think, in Am Yisrael's, chapter that we live in, where we're trying to figure out who we are. We're very rebellious. We're fighting one another. But in order to transcend that and to overcome anti-Semitism, to overcome these things, I think we need to figure out who we are, what is our purpose, what are we here to do, and once we fix this unit, be able to do it. Am Yisrael has a light. We have in each individual, we're 0.1% of the world's population, and clearly we are able to succeed in ways, and I think that's also a big part of culture. We were 300 years ago, we were the only population that was entirely literate, right? Most people didn't know how to read and write, but we all had bar and bat mitzvahs, so we all knew how to read and write. And because of that, we've become successful, but we need to use that light not as individuals, but as a collective. And once we figure out, okay, now that we have Israel, what next? Is it to be like everyone else, or is there a greater purpose? And I think that's a conversation and an answer that the generation will come to. I don't think any individual has like, yes, do X, Y, Z, and that's the key. I think there are elements of things that we all know that we need to do, but we need to start shifting the generation to be able to find the holistic greater truth.